Evening chanting, page 14. Yosu Bhagava Araham Sama Sambuddho Swakato Ye Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipanno Yassa Bhagavato Savak Sangho Tamayam Bhagavantam Sadham Sasangham Imi Sakari Iyatarhan Aropiti Abhipujayama Sadhuno Bhagava Suchira Parinibhutopi Pachima Janata Nukampa-manasa Ime Sakare Dugat-panaka Bhute Patiganhatu Amhakam Digharatam Hitaya Sukhaya Arham Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavant Abhivadi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasam Supatipanno Bhagavato Savak Sangho Sangham Handmayam Buddhasya Bhagavato Pubbabhag Namkaram Karomasi Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Buddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Handmayam Buddhanusatinayam Karomasi Tam Khopana Bhagavan Evam Kalyano Iti Satto Abhugato Iti Piso Bhagava Arhan Sama Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Pursadhamma Sarathi Sattadi Manusana Buddho Bhagavati Handmayam Buddha Vigitim Karomasi Buddhavarhan Varatadi Gunabhiyuto Suddha Vijnana Karuna Isamagatato Bodhesiyo Sujanatam Kamalam Vasuro Vandamaham Tamaranam Sirasa Jinendam Buddho yo sabbapaninam saranam khimamuttamam Pathamanusatithana vandamitam sirenam Buddhasahasmida siva buddho me samikissaro Buddhasah Niyademi Sariran Jivitanchidam Vandanti नत्थिहं चरिष्यामि बुद्धस्यैव सुबोधितं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यत् बुद्धो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सत्यवज्रेण वड्डेयं सतु शासने बुद्धं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सभेऽपि अन्तराया मे माहेशुं कस्य तेजसा कालान्तरेण संवर्धते खण्डमयं धम्मानुसतिनयं करोमसि स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो सन्दिट्ठिको अकालिको एहि पस्सिको औपनयिको पच्यतं वेदितव्यो विन्योहीति हन्दमयं धम्माभिगीतिं करोमसि स्वाखाततादिगुणयोगवसेन सेयो यो मग्गपाकपरियतिविमुखभेदो धम्मो कुलोकपतना तदधारी धारी वन्दामहं तमरं वरधम्ममेतं धम्मो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमम् द्वितीयानुसतीर्थानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहं धम्मस्सस्मि दासीव धम्मो मे सामिकिस्सरो धम्मासहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि धम्मस्यैव सुधम्मतं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यत् धम्मो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्रेण वध्येयं सत्तु शासने धम्मं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सभेऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेशुं तस्य तेजसा खण्डमयं संगाविभूतिं करोमसि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्गो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्गो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्गो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्गो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगानि अष्टपुरुषपुद्गला एष भगवतो सावकसङ्गो आहुनेयोपानेयो दक्षिणेयो अञ्जलिकरणेयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकृतं लोकसाति खण्डमयं संगाविगीतिं करोमसि सधम्मजो सुपटिप भक्ति गुणादियुतो यो अट्ठविद अरिय पुंगल संग सेठो शीलादि धम्म पवरा सयकाय चेतो वंदामहं तमर्यं सुशुद्धं यो सब पाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं ततियानुसतिष्ठान वन्दामि तं शिरेणहं संघस्सास्मि दासी संघो मे सामितिसरो संघासहं नियादिं शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्ति यं चरिस्सां संघसोपटिपन्नतं नत्ति मे शरणम् अन्य संघो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्डेयं सतु शासने संघं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इदं सभेऽपि अन्तरायामि मायेषु तस्य तेजसा
दज्ज किस्त का पाठ करेंगे।
Connected to 6B7738
තජග්ග පරිත්ත නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස එවං මේ සුතං ඒකං සමයං භගවා සාවත්ථියං විහෙරති 제තවනේ අනාථ පිණ්ඩිකස්ස ආරාමේ තත්‍රකෝ භගවා භික්ඛු ආමන්තේසි භික්ඛවෝති බදන්තේති තේ භික්ඛු භගවතෝ පච්චස්සෝසුං භගවා ඒතදවෝච භූත පුබ්බං භික්ඛවේ දේවාසුර සංගාමෝ සමුපබ්බුල්හෝ අහෝසි අතකෝ භික්ඛවේ සක්කෝ දේවානමින්දු දේවේ තාවතින්සේ ආමන්තේසි සචේ මාරිසා දේවානං සංගාමගතානං uppajjeය භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා මමේව තස්මින් සමයේ දජග්ගං උල්ලෝකේයාත මමං හිවෝ දජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝ පහීසති නොචේ මේ ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයාත අත පජාපතිස්ස දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයාත පජාපතිස්ස හිවෝ දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝ පහීසති නොචේ පජාපතිස්ස දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයාත අත වරුණස්ස දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයාත වරුණස්ස හිවෝ දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝ පහීසති නොචේ වරුණස්ස දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයාත අත ඊසානස්ස දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයාත ඊසානස්ස හිවෝ දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝ පහීසති තං කෝපන භික්ඛවේ සක්කස්සවා දේවා නමින්දස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං පජාපතිස්සවා දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං වරුණස්සවා දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං ඊශානස්සවා දේවරාජස්ස ධජග්ගං උල්ලෝකයතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝ පහීයේථාපි නෝපි පහීයේත තං කිස්ස හේතු සක්කෝ භික්ඛවේ දේවානමින්දෝ අවීත රාගෝ අවීත දෝසෝ අවීත මෝහෝ භීරුච්ඡම්භි උත්‍රාසි පලායිති අහංච කෝ භික්ඛවේ එවං වදාමි සචේතුම්හාකං භික්ඛවේ අරඤ්ඤගතානං වා රුක්ඛමූලගතානං වා ශුඤ්ඤාගාරගතානං වා uppajjeyය භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා මමේව තස්මින් සමයේ අනුස්සරේයාත ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විජ්ජාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරථි සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති මමං හිවෝ භික්ඛවේ අනුස්සරතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්භිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝපහි ඉස්සති නොචේ මං අනුස්සරේයාත අත ධම්මං අනුස්සරේයාත ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සම්දිට්ඨිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතබ්බෝ විඤ්ඤුහීති ධම්මං හි වෝ භික්ඛවේ අනුස්සරතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්භිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝපහි ඉස්සති නොචේ ධම්මං අනුස්සරේයාත අත සංඝං අනුස්සරේයාත සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුග්ගලා ඒස භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණීයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං ලෝකස්සාති සංඝං හිවෝ භික්ඛවේ අනුස්සරතං යං භවිස්සති භයං වා චම්භිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ වා සෝපහි ඉස්සති තං කිස්ස හේතු තථාගතෝ භික්ඛවේ අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විතරාගෝ විතදෝසෝ විතමෝහෝ අභීරු අච්ඡම්භි අනුත්‍රාසි අපලායිති ඉදමවෝච භගවා ඉදං වත්වා සුගතෝ අථා පරං ඒතදවෝච සත්තා අරඤ්ඤේ රුක්ඛ මූලේවා ශුඤ්ඤාගාරේව භික්ඛවෝ අනුස්සරේත සම්බුද්ධං භයං තුම්හාක නොසියා නොචේ බුද්ධං සරයාත ලෝකජෙට්ඨං නරාසභං අත ධම්මං සරයාත නීයානිකං සුදේසිතං නොචේ ධම්මං සරයාත නීයානිකං සුදේසිතං අත සංඝං සරයාත පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං අනුත්තරං එවං බුද්ධං සරන්තානං ධම්මං සංඝං ච භික්ඛවෝ භයං වා චම්බිතත්තං වා ලෝමහංසෝ නහෙසති ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සොත්ථිතේ හෝතු සම්බදා ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සොත්ථිතේ හෝතු සම්බදා ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සොත්ථිතේ හෝතු සම්බදා.
We listen to a discourse by Ajahn Punyadhammo on dependent origination, Paticca Samutpad, and we'll
the dependent origination to begin with, the Paticca Samuppada, is at the core of the Buddhist philosophy, because it's the Buddha's answer to many of the philosophical conundrums that existed in ancient India and have cropped up in different forms in many other places and times, right down to modern times. The origin of suffering in the world is described in different philosophies in different ways. The eternalist view, the creationist view, is that there's a supreme being who created the universe, and that's the way that he created things. So that's the way things are. The opposite view is the materialist, nihilist view that says there's no rhyme or reason to the occurrences of our life. Things arise by random chance. Both of these views share, they seem to be polar opposites, but they share a strong element of arbitrariness. They say that things arise, that the experiences that we have as human beings are essentially arbitrary. In the one case, it's the arbitrary will of a creator, God. He just created things that way. And in the opposite view, it's finally just a random shuffling of the deck of molecules that explains everything, and there is no ultimate purpose or rhyme or reason. So it's also arbitrary. The Buddhist philosophical basis is that the universe is essentially orderly and causal, that things arise according to causes and conditions and not otherwise. This is one of the fundamental philosophical statements of Buddhism. And the simplest formula of the dependent origination is simply that. It says that because of this, that arises. When this ceases, that ceases. And that sounds very, very simple, but it's an important philosophical statement. And taken in the historical context of ancient India, it was an answer to various other philosophers who taught various forms of this arbitrary view. The Buddha said, no, things do have a pattern. They do arise because of causes and conditions. And his detailed explanation of this was in relation to the human dilemma, was in terms of the 12 nidana of the Paticca-samuppada, the 12 links or causal relations. One thing existing, then because of this, the first thing, the next thing comes into existence. The dependent origination is to be considered as an ongoing process, a circular occurrence, that because of as long as beings are mired in samsara, the wheel will continue to roll. So there is no starting point. There's no reason for there to be an original starting point. There's no philosophical reason that there must be an ultimate origin. As far back as we can trace things, there's always a prior cause. The only reason people want to postulate a first cause is because of a limiting of the human imagination, not a limiting of reality. There's no reason that there ought to be a first cause. Each cause is itself an effect of a previous cause. But this being so, the dependent origination is usually taken to begin with the link of ignorance, avijja, as taken as a first starting point for purposes of teaching. Avijja is not knowing. The word is exactly parallel to the English word ignorance, which is also it's from a Greek root, not knowing, ignosis, and in Pali it's avijja, not knowledge, the opposite of knowledge. It's a mind. It represents a mind that is unseeing. It's in darkness. It doesn't see the laws of karma and cause and effect. It doesn't understand the Four Noble Truths. It's a mind that doesn't understand the lawful nature of existence and the processes of cause and effect. So it acts blindly. You may have seen the pictorial representation that of the Paticca that's often it comes originally from the Tibetan tradition, but other schools of Buddhism have picked it up in recent times, drawing a dependent origination as a wheel and showing a little picture or an icon for each stage. And ignorance is represented by a blind man stumbling along with a stick. So from not knowing, from avidya, we have because of avidya, sankhara, which means compounded things, formations. And in this context, it means particularly volitional formations. That is free will action. That is making karma in the world. We make karma with body, speech, and mind because of our ignorance. We do things. We're not content or quiescent. We're restless. We're not satisfied with the position of the universe as it presents itself to us at any given moment. I think it was Thoreau who said that all the trouble in the world comes because people are not content to sit quietly in their room, and it's that's basically it. That we because of the whole this whole universe, this whole experiential phenomenal universe comes into subjective existence for us because of this, because we take action in the world. And we'll see how this works as I go through the dependent origination. It's also taught that one who has attained to the final stage of liberation, an arahant, makes no more karma. His or her actions are void of karma. They're only effective. They're kriya. So that there's no more becoming for them. They've broken the wheel of dependent origination. So it's actions that are born out of ignorance that keep the wheel turning. So having taken actions in the world, then the next stage is vijnana, consciousness. The mind now receives the results of previous karma. This bears looking at for a little bit. In one of the recurring philosophical dilemmas in any discussion about human conditions is sometimes called the problem of free will. How much we have free will and how much is determined. The Buddhist answer is quite specific, that our experiences at this moment are entirely determined by previous causes, including our previous karma. But at the same time, our volitional choice at this moment is completely free. We have complete free will to take any action or inaction and create fresh karma. It takes energy to exercise this volition, to exercise free will. The lazy habit of mind is to continue along with this in the same rut of habit patterns that we've built up for lifetimes, and to continue along in the same habit pattern. As long as we continue in the same pattern, then it's easy. We can just drift along. We're not exercising this human potential of free will volition. But we do have this at each moment. We can set off on a brand new track with body, speech, or mind. Ajahn Chah gave an analogy, a parable, to understand this. And in Thailand, in previous times, and even somewhat today in the backcountry, they have these carts pulled by water buffalo with very big wheels and very narrow wheels, but very big circumference. And that was their mode of transport. Up until a few decades ago, it was the only mode of transport. And if you were going in one of these carts from between two villages, if it was a commonly used track, there was a lot of traffic between these two villages, you could just get the water buffalo started and you could fall asleep, and he would find his way, and because the cart would just ride in the ruts from all the other carts had dug these grooves in the ground, and they would be quite deep and quite hard, and the cart would just follow the ruts around the corners, and the water buffalo would just walk one step ahead of the other, and you'd get to the village without any problem. But if you wanted to go off on a side trip to a different place that didn't have much traffic, you would have to stop the cart, get out, unhook the water buffalo, wrestle the cart out of the ruts, turn it around, hook the water buffalo back up, and start him going. So it takes a huge amount of effort and energy to break out of a rut pattern. So that's a little side issue about free will. To be more specific and technical about this, in the Abhidhamma, consciousness is classified as either karmically effective or resultant. So that each moment of mind, we're either, if we're exercising free, if it's a free will moment, a volitional moment, we're creating karma. And this is this sankhara in the dependent origination, the making of karma. When then consciousness, as it arises through the six sense doors, is always classed as resultant, vipaka. So that means that everything we see, hear, feel, touch, everything that rises to our mind through any of the doors is a result of previous causes, including previously made karma. So because of sankhara vijnana, because of what we've done in the past, we get the experiences that we have now. One of the important aspects of this is that in Buddhism we're taught to be very radically self-responsible. You don't blame other people for your misfortunes. They're ultimately, in the last analysis, it's your own karma, and you have to make your own fresh karma. And there's, of course, a particular special case of this resultant vijnana, resultant consciousness, at the moment of birth, or coming into existence, or conception. When a new life begins, it's the result of the exact configuration of this new being is the result of many causes, including the previous karma made in that stream of consciousness. So in the dependent origination, according to the commentarial definitions, Vijnana particularly refers to this rebirth linking consciousness. So the stage of sankhara, which we've left, is active, volitional, and now we're in the resultant stages, and we're going to stay there for quite a while. So this is important to understand, that these subsequent stages are all automatic. There's nothing we can do about them. That we've already dealt the cards, and now they're just playing themselves out. This is just automatic. So the being takes rebirth, and because of the particular conditioned nature of the consciousness, conditioned by previous karma, the consciousness that will find an appropriate station of rebirth. And if the rebirth station is human, it means that previously that being was one who kept good sila, kept the 5 precepts. Then the being will take a human rebirth, and there's different aspects of human rebirth. If the Buddha said that, the Buddha, when he talked about karma, he mostly talked in terms of rebirth. So he would say, like, if you are, in one sutta he gave many examples, and he said that if you are an angry person all the time, then you're going to be ugly in your next birth. And if you have a sweet, kind-hearted disposition, you're going to be very beautiful in your next birth. If you're someone who takes an interest in Dhamma and asks questions and thinks about Dhamma, then you're going to be intelligent and wise. If you're someone who never pays attention to Dhamma, then you're going to be stupid and ignorant. So he gives many examples like this. So the particular karmic inheritance of the consciousness will determine the nature of the being, and it'll determine the place where the being is born, and the particular womb that it finds, and the circumstances of its unfolding. So the next stage is Namarupa, which literally means name and form, which means body and mind. So this, now that the consciousness having sought rebirth, having found a place of rebirth, it now unfolds the being, and the being arises in the womb from this original seed, the spark, the coming together of, as it says in the text, the coming together of seed of the father, blood of the mother in her time, and the consciousness, the Gandhava, seeking rebirth. When these three come together, the life begins, and it unfolds according to various laws, including the bija kama, is the seed law or genetics, and the utu niyama, which is the laws of heat, which is the maturing of the organism according to natural physical law, but also according to kama niyama, which is previous kama. So the being will take form. So sometimes this in the suttas, the human body is referred to as born of father and mother, fed by rice, and created from old karma. This karma-generated body. So the human body comes into, and mind comes into existence in all its parts and pieces, and one of the aspects it manifests is the 6 sense bases. The Salayatana, which is the next stage of the dependent origination. As human beings, we have this way of contacting the world, the six sense bases, and the Buddha said that all the world is included in the six sense bases. That's because that is our subjective world, the world that we know, and it's important to not be naive about this, to understand how this works. That we are creating the world that we live in subjectively with our sense impressions. If we had a different set of sense organs, we would have a different world. There are creatures on this planet that have quite different sense equipment than we do, and they experience a different world as a result. Think of a bat, which is pretty close to blind, but has this incredible echo sense that we don't have. That they can make sounds and hear the echoes, and they can figure out where the objects are, and they never collide with anything in their flight, even though they're almost blind, because they have this like radar. So they live in an entirely different subjective universe. There are insects like bees that see colors that we can't even imagine, because they're up in the ultraviolet frequency range. Our eyes are blind to those colors, so they see extra colors that we can't even imagine. There's many animals hear sounds much higher range than we can. So these are all entirely different subjective factors of experience. So we have this, because of our karma as human beings, we have this particular sensory array, this way of receiving data from the outside world, is this particular wavelength of electromagnetic field is called light, and we can see that. That's our vision sense. Certain range of frequencies we can hear, that's our sound sense, and so on. So because of these sensory powers, the six sense bases, and we make contact. This is the pasa, the next stage. Information comes to us from the outside world, and from the point of view of Buddhist philosophy, as I said at the beginning, Buddhism and the teachings of the Buddha were extremely practical, and for a reason. The reason being liberation. So we're interested in the subjective side. We're interested in what our experience as human beings is. To get into the question of what's out there, what's the outside world, what's the nature of the outside world, is irrelevant to Buddhism, and we don't go there. The texts and the philosophy doesn't go there. We're looking at the subjective side. So we have the six sense bases, and we contact our point of experience of the outside world is data coming in, and we make contact. Three things come together for contact. There's the impression from the outside world, a sight, a sound, light waves or sound vibrations, etc. The physical organ of sense, such as the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and finally consciousness, the quintessentially subjective aspect of the knowing, the pure knowing. So that must be present. So all three need to be present for an act of contact to occur. So once an act of contact is made, then the mind knows an object, processes an object, that then Vedana arises, feelings. This is the habit of mind, the immediate automatic instinct of mind to classify things as being pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Whatever impression of sense occurs, that is to us something pleasant, something unpleasant, or something neutral. Everything falls into that. Those categories, and this is very automatic and instantaneous. So we taste some food, and it tastes delicious to us. So that's pleasant sensation. The mind alights on Sukha Vedana, pleasant sensation. Of course, there's a whole range. We can classify them just in terms of those three, and that's basically all that we need. But there's a whole range from very subtle movement of mind to very strong, overwhelming sensations. You can think of an unpleasant sensation ranging from a little pinprick to horrible, agonizing pains. But they're still all dukkha vedana, unpleasant sensations. Now, up to this point, as I've said, all this is resultant. All this is a very automatic unfolding from karmic results. It just happens. This is what happens to us as human beings. Because of previous karma, we develop our body and mind and sense organs. We contact the world, and our experience of the world is either pleasant or unpleasant or indifferent. So far, that's what it is. That's how the universe presents itself to us. But now at the next stage, we go from Vedana to Tanha, to craving. So now we're moving, in terms of the Four Noble Truths, we're moving into the Second Noble Truth. And in terms of dependent origination, we're moving from past resultant to new causation. This is now a very important point, because this is where the wheel turns around a new turning. And this is also the point where we can wrestle the ox cart out of the ditch. At this point, this is where we can make a choice to do something different. Because now we're actually coming into areas where volition is exercised. The habit of mind is to go immediately from Vedana into craving. But if we're very conscious of what's happening, and if we have developed through meditation and practice, we have developed both the mindfulness and restraint, then we can see what's happening and choose not to continue on this path. Tanha, thirst or craving, is the desire for desire for sensual pleasures, or for existence or for non-existence. There's the three kinds the desire for existence or being and the desire for non-being or non-existence are opposites, and we all experience them from time to time in different degrees. The desire to exist is like the life impulse, and it can manifest as the wish to be more, to be more powerful, more wealthy, more famous, whatever it might be, just to be more, to have more existence. The desire not to be, in an extreme, the very extreme form, is suicidal impulses. But we all experience it in lesser forms when we want to get rid of the burden of consciousness. This oversleeping, or making ourselves dull with mindless entertainment, like watching stupid television shows, or any form of escape from higher consciousness and retreating into a duller state of existence is vibhava tanha, or the will not to be. But kamha tanha, the will for sensual desires, is most relevant in terms of dependent origination, because it's very much related to this previous stage of Vedana, feelings. We have pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, and if you examine all the multitude of things that we desire in the world, they always trace back to this, the same root, that we're either trying to maximize pleasant feeling or minimize unpleasant feeling. So beings desire all kinds of things. If you desire all kinds of material goods, you desire relationships, you desire jobs, you desire houses, and all these things can be very complicated, but it's very simple in the end. Any of these things, you want it because you want it because it will either allow you to escape from some unpleasant feeling, or it will give you a pleasant feeling. And if you look carefully at any particular desire and trace it back and say, why do I want this thing? You'll always, and if you keep tracing it back, you'll always bottom out at this point, at maximizing pleasant feeling or minimizing unpleasant feeling. So that's the root of craving. That's all we really crave in the final analysis, is sukha vedana and escaping from dukkha vedana. And the uninstructed being in the world will spend lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes literally chasing after sukha vedana and escaping from dukkha vedana, like a hamster in a wheel. We don't get anywhere. And that there's always the belief that whatever object it is that is desired at this point in time is the one that will make us happy. Now, people always have this kind of illusion that either the new job or the boyfriend or the girlfriend, or the new car, or the new computer, whatever it is that they're currently desiring. That's what they need to be happy. And when they get it, it will provide a certain amount of pleasant feeling. But it's the nature of samsara that nothing is completely satisfying. The desire mind is insatiable. It's a bottomless pit. So the mind will experience some sukha vedana, and then it'll get its little hit of sukha vedana, then it will want something else. So desire mind continues endlessly. You know? So understanding this and seeing how, where this craving comes from is the stage where we can begin to stop the wheel from turning around. If it's not stopped at that point, then it continues on from craving to clinging, which is an intensification from craving to a much stronger the mind grasping onto the object, holding onto it. And at that point, we're pretty well slipping out of the realm of where we can do anything about it, and we're hooked, and we end up riding around the wheel one more time until we get the next opportunity with the next moment of sense contact. But at this point, we've already lost it now, and we've come into existence identifying with an object of desire. And clinging always involves this creation of a self-view, because we have this relationship. We are now defining ourselves in terms of our relationship to the desired object or the undesired object. Because we are providing a focus point, of content for the self-view to gel around. We're coming into existence, and this is why the next stage is becoming bhava. And we're coming into existence as the owner of this grasped object. And this process occurs on different time scales, different levels, and it's important to understand that too. That we generally, when we talk about dependent origination, we're talking in terms of lifetimes, and the first few stages are particularly appropriate for that type of analysis. But now at this point, we can also see it happening very quickly, moment by moment. And if you're examining the mind carefully, as in insight meditation, you can watch this process happening. You can watch how the mind takes an object occurs to the mind reacts to it and craves it and clings to it. And this can be either negative or positive clinging. Aversion is just a form of negative clinging. We're still coming into existence as, and the clinging is, in this case, is pushing away. But the mind is identifying itself to this object of consciousness. So we're lost in terms of, to bring it down to a practical point of meditation, we're lost in our thought processes. The thought process is not, if the thought process is seen objectively, then it's an object of meditation. It's not identified to. But if we take a subjective inside interest in it and we get involved in it and we ride that train of thought, then we've lost the stream of meditation. We're coming back into existence. We're practicing craving and clinging. And you can observe that for yourself, how that works when you do meditation. When the mind does wander off, and it does do that, repeatedly, then that's not to be upset about that. To take that as an opportunity for practice, to see, oh, okay, that's how that works. I've gone off the track. Now I'm coming into existence, thinking about this and that. And then there's a moment of clarity, and you bring the mind back to the meditation. Sometimes it's useful to actually do some retrospective analysis when the mind's gone. And that's the point where we lose the meditation. It's not in the thinking. Thought is an automatic process that will arise. It's an object of consciousness. And we come into birth, jati. And that can be understood in a very literal sense. In the sutta explanation, when the Buddha expounds upon the dependent origination and defines the terms, he always defines jati in terms of birth to this or that order of being, so physical birth. But it can also be understood as happening momentarily, as a momentary culmination of becoming, that we are reborn each moment. Sometimes, this is a bit of a digression, but sometimes the question arises when people are asking about Buddhist teachings. It's a very common question, actually a question that goes right back to, at least to King Milinda's, the questions of King Milinda, is how we reconcile the teachings of not self and rebirth. Because there is rebirth, but there's nothing which is reborn. The way to look at that is to forget about birth and death for a moment and just think about a succeeding series of moments within this lifetime. As you sit here this evening, this series of moments in your mind, what's the connection there? There's one moment arising followed by another according to a causal pattern. And there is actually no continuity of substance. It's a continuity of cause and effect and of pattern. And if we understand that there's no continuity within, there's no essential continuity within a single lifetime, then the question about rebirth becomes trivial, because we see it as a special case only in that the physical basis falls away. But if the causal pattern of the mind of craving causing consciousness to arise to an object, if that is still there, in other words, if the being is not yet an arahant, then by the laws of cause and effect, the mind will want to rise to an object, and the energy is there, it will do so. But the physical base of the body has fallen away, is no longer functional, so that it must arise elsewhere. So that's how beings come into birth, because of all these previous causes. Craving is present, karma is present when a being dies, and this energy causes a strong impulse for completion. And the consciousness must arise again in appropriate conditions. So having come into birth, then to complete the cycle of the dependent origination, whatever arises ceases. This is one of the basic fundamental laws of samsara. Whatever comes into existence passes out of existence. So, because of birth, old age, and death, that pretty well sums up that phrase. Because of birth, old age, and death, pretty well sums up the human existence. That's our life. Because we're born, we get old and die. And if a being dies unliberated, then ignorance is still present, and the whole cycle starts again. And because of previous karma, rebirth linking consciousness creates a new body and mind, sense bases, and opens the door for contact and everything else. So it's a cycle.
संक्षेप में हिंदी में अनुवाद करते हैं, सारांश बताते हैं। पहली बात अजान ने बताई कि ये जो प्रतीच्य समुत्पाद का प्रिंसिपल है, वो भगवान ने जो उस समय की दो प्रेवलेंट फिलॉसफीज़ थी, एक कि जो कुछ भी हो रहा है वो भगवान की मर्ज़ी से हो रहा है, दूसरी है कि ये अपने आप होता रहता है, उसका कोई कारण नहीं है। उन दोनों के बीच को नकारते हुए एक बात समझाई लोगों को कि जो कुछ भी होता है उसके पीछे कोई ना कोई कारण होता है। संसार जो है एक ऑर्डरली यूनिवर्स है, इसमें कोई कन्फ्यूजन नहीं है कि कभी कुछ हो जाएगा कभी कुछ हो जाएगा। और बेसिक जो प्रतीच्य समुत्पाद का नियम वो ये है कि अगर ये एग्जिस्ट करता है तो ये होगा, और ये नहीं एग्जिस्ट करता तो ये नहीं होगा। तो बेसिक कॉज इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप जो है वो प्रतीच्य समुत्पाद का है। और जो हम 12 लिंक्स पढ़ते हैं वो एक स्पेशल एप्लीकेशन है मानव रेल्म के लिए। तो उन्होंने जो रेल्म की इसकी प्रतीच्य समाप्ति की शुरुआत जो होती है अविद्या से होती है, हम जानते हैं। अविद्या पश्चा संखारा, तो उन्होंने बताया अविद्या का अर्थ है कि इग्नोरेंस है, जो हम ठीक से नहीं जानते, 4 आर्य सत्य नहीं जानते, कर्म सिद्धांत नहीं जानते, और समझते नहीं है कि कैसे ये संसार चल रहा है, और कारण इस कारण का ये, अगर ऐसा कारण होगा तो ये उसका नतीजा होगा, ये ठीक से नहीं जानते, तो इसलिए संसार को ठीक से देख नहीं पाते। तो उन्होंने कहा जैसे कि तिब्बतन व्हील ऑफ लाइफ में इसको एक अंधे आदमी की तरह दिखाया जाता है जो कि इधर उधर भटक रहा है, उसको मालूम नहीं मुझे कहाँ जाना है। और इस विद्या के कारण ही हम संस्कार बनाते रहते हैं। जो मैं का भाव होता है उसके कारण ही कर्म संस्कार बनता है, और वो कर्म संस्कार जो है क्यों बनता है, क्योंकि हम जो है इस समय उससे प्रसन्न, उससे संतुष्ट नहीं है, सो जो है उसको बदलना चाहते हैं, और इसीलिए ये कर्म संस्कार बनाते हैं। जो अरहंत है वो कोई कर्म संस्कार नहीं बनाता है, उसका चित्त सिर्फ फंक्शनल चित्त काम करता है। और जब कर्म संस्कार बनता है तो फिर नया विज्ञान जागता है उसके साथ ही। जो भगवान कई सूत्रों में इस बात को स्पष्ट समझाते हैं। और अजान ने बताया कि जो एक फ़िलॉसफी में एक प्रॉब्लम रहती है, क्या हम पूरी तरह से डिटरमिन्ड हैं या हमारे पास एक फ्री विल है कि हम जो चाहें सो कर सकते हैं। तो उन्होंने बताया कि भगवान की जो फ़िलॉसफी है उसके हिसाब से जो दर्शन है कि जो भी एक्सपीरियंस हम कर रहे हैं अपने जीवन में वो तो हमारे पिछले कर्मों का फल है, लेकिन इस समय हम जो कम करेंगे उसके लिए हम मुक्त हैं, फ्री हैं, और उसके अनुसार हम अगर ढंग से काम नहीं करेंगे, पुरानी आदतों से ही चलते रहेंगे तो वही दुख का चक्र चलता रहेगा। और अगर सजग रहेंगे और आदत बदलने का प्रयास करेंगे तो हम इस दुख चक्र से निकल सकते हैं। उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया एक बैलगाड़ी का, जो कि अगर एक रास्ता ज़मीन पे रास्ता साफ़ बना हुआ है तो बड़े सुलभ तरीके से चलती रहती है, लेकिन अगर रास्ता नया बनाना और उबड़ खाबड़ हो तो वो कहीं और जा रही है, आपको दूसरी तरफ लाना है, तो उसमें एफ़र्ट लगता है। ये अजान चाह कहा करते थे, तो बताते हैं कि ये एफ़र्ट ही हमारा फ्री विल है जो हमको करना पड़ता है अगर हम अपने डर्रे से हटना चाहते हैं। तो जो हमारी इसके बाद जो भी हमारा विज्ञान जागता है उसके बाद 6 इंद्रियां जागती हैं। वो मनुष्य जन्म के लिए कहा जाता है कि वो सब पुराने कर्मों का ही फल है जो जागता है। अगर हमने अच्छे कर्म किए होंगे तो अच्छा शरीर मिलेगा, अच्छे योनि में मिलेगा, ठीक कर्म नहीं किए होंगे तो नहीं मिलेगा। और जब विज्ञान से नाम रूप जागता है, नया कर्म जागता है, तो नया शरीर और मन की बातें जागती हैं। तो उसके 3 आयाम बताए जाते हैं। एक तो बीज नियम का मतलब कि जो सीड है, जो माता पिता के जेनेटिक फैक्टर्स हैं। दूसरा ओटू नियम, किस तरह से वो वेदर है, वूम्ब के अंदर किस तरह का वेदर है, कैसे उसकी मैच्योरिटी हो रही है फीटस की। और फिर कर्म नियम कि कैसे कर्म संस्कार हैं जिसके अनुसार से वो आगे बढ़ेगा। और फिर नाम रूप जब आता है तो सामान्य मनुष्य जीवन में तो 6 इंद्रियां आती हैं, और वो 6 इंद्रियां ही जो है वो निर्धारित करती है कि हम किस तरह का संसार देखते हैं, कितनी हमारी क्षमताएं हैं। अगर अन्य भिन्न योनियों में अलग अलग तरह की इंद्रियों की क्षमता है तो वो इसी जिसको हम कहते हैं ऑब्जेक्टिव वर्ल्ड को वो अलग तरह से देखते हैं। तो इसलिए भगवान जो शब्द संसार कहते हैं उसका मतलब वो संसार जो हम अनुभव करते हैं अपनी इंद्रियों से, और वो संसार दूसरे प्राणी जो अनुभव करते हैं उससे भिन्न है। तो हम देखा जाए तो हम अपना जो संसार जिसको हम रहते हैं वो हम खुद क्रिएट करते हैं अपनी इंद्रियों की 6 इंद्रियों के आधार पे। उन्होंने उदाहरण दिए जैसे चमगादड़ हैं, उनकी अलग तरह की कैपेबिलिटी है, जो मधुमक्खी हैं उनकी अलग कैपेबिलिटी है, कई जानवर हैं, खास हाथी है, उनके सुनने की क्षमता अलग है। तो उनकी क्षमताएं अलग है सुनने और देखने की। तो जो संसार वो देखते हैं और सुनते हैं वो बिल्कुल अलग है, जो हमारे को नहीं मालूम उसके बारे में। और जब 6 इंद्रियां बन जाएंगी तो फिर उनका स्पर्श बाहर के संसार से होगा, और संसार से स्पर्श होगा तो फिर वो हम उसमें आवश्यकता है कि जैसे आँख है, वहाँ रूप है, और हम सजग हैं, हम सो नहीं रहे हैं, तो फिर हमको देखने का क्षमता आती है, और इसी तरह सुनने की और अन्य इंद्रियों की क्षमता आती है। और फिर वो हमारा मन उसको प्रोसेस करके बताता है कि क्या देखा, क्या सुना, और उस प्रोसेसिंग के आधार पे ही वेदना जागती है कि वो प्रिय है कि अप्रिय है कि न्यूट्रल है। और यहाँ तक की जो चीज़ें हैं वेदना तक की, वो सारी पुराने कर्मों के फल के रूप में ही आती हैं। यहाँ तक हमारा कोई उस पर एक बार कर्म से ज्ञान बन गया तो ये सारी चीज़ें ऑटोमेटिक होती रहेंगी, उस पर हमारा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है। लेकिन वेदना के बाद क्या होगा वो हमारे पे उसके ऊपर कुछ कंट्रोल है, क्योंकि अगर हम सजग नहीं हैं और अपने लेजीनेस है, पुराने रट्टे में चले जा रहे हैं, अपने पुराने प्रिय के प्रति राग, अप्रिय के प्रति द्वेष, वो बात आदत ही चली जा रही है, तो हम वेदना के प्रति तन्हाई जगाएंगे। और तन्हा भी 3 तरह की हैं, काम तन्हा, भव तन्हा, विभव तन्हा, हम जानते हैं। और अगर हम सजग रहते हैं तो हम उस रास्ते पे चलने से रुक सकते हैं। वो गाड़ी जो है तन्हा की गाड़ी पे नहीं बैठते, हम देख लेते हैं ये तब अप्रिय है या प्रिय है, और उसको देख के उस पर चित्त पे लगाम लगा लेते हैं ताकि वो आगे ना बढ़े। और जब तृष्णा बढ़ती है तो वो उपादान का रूप लेती है, क्लिंगिंग का, चिपकाव आसक्ति का रूप लेती है, और फिर उसके बाद तो गाड़ी चलती जाएगी, फिर वो गाड़ी रुकेगी नहीं। और उस उपादान और क्लिंगिंग के मारण से ही एक आत्म का भाव जागता है, सेल्फ व्यू जागता है, क्योंकि हम फिर जिस चीज़ के प्रति हमारा चिपकाव है वो हम अपनी मानते हैं, और फिर उसके साथ हमारा मैं का भाव जागता है। और उसी के फलस्वरूप अगला लिंक है भव, कि हम बनना शुरू होता है। क्योंकि हम उस चीज़ को ग्रैस्प करने वाले नए इंसान बन गए। सामान्यतः जब भावुक जो पतित समुत्पाद की बात की जाती है वो 3 लाइफ टर्म्स में की जाती है। भाव के बाद जो जाती है वो अगला जन्म माना जाता है। जैसे अजान बता रहे थे कि उसको हम इसी जन्म के अंदर प्रतिक्षण क्या हो रहा है मन में, उसके हिसाब से भी समझ सकते हैं। प्रतिक्षण मन में जब हम किसी चीज़ से क्लिंग करते हैं और मैं का भाव जागता है तो जाति जो है, अगला लिंक जो जाती है, उसको हम अगले सचमुच में नया शरीर की न मान के उस समय एक अहम का भाव जागने को भी जाति समझ सकते हैं। उन्होंने यहाँ पे एक डाइग्रेशन के रूप में बताया कि कई बार हम समझते हैं कि प्रश्न ये उठता है कि जब हम कहते हैं अनात्म का भाव कहते हैं और साथ साथ कहते हैं कोई प्राणी पैदा हो, दो रीबर्थ भी है, तो ये दोनों कैसे सामंजस्य बनाते हैं। तो समझाया कि अगर हम मन के काम को प्रतिक्षण देखें, अपने दैनिक जीवन में देखें कि एक क्षण एक मन की स्थिति होती है, फिर अगली, फिर अगली, फिर अगली, तो देखेंगे कि एक क्षण से दूसरे क्षण कॉज इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप से होता है, किसी कारण से ही होता है जो होता है, कोई आदमी नहीं है जो उसको धक्का दे रहा है। तो जब हम इस बात को समझ लेते हैं ठीक से कि हमारे जीते जी भी यही हो रहा है कि कोई जैसा संस्कार जागा है वैसे नई विज्ञान जागता है, तो प्रतिक्षण यही हो रहा है, तो मृत्यु के समय पे भी ऐसा ही होगा, ये स्वाभाविक बात हो जाती है। और जब जाति होगी तो उसके बाद मरण और बुढ़ापा, मृत्यु तो आएगी, क्योंकि जो अविद्या थी उसके कारण ही जाति हुई है और फिर वो आगे चक्र चलता रहता है। तो इस तरह से संक्षेप में जानने की बात का मैंने ट्रांसलेशन किया। अब ब्रह्म विहारों का अभ्यास करते हैं। आज जो हमारी चैंटिंग है फुल मेत्ता चांट, उसी के साथ साथ हम ब्रह्म विहारों का भी अभ्यास करते रहेंगे। पहले मैत्री अपने प्रति, माता पिता प्रियजनों के प्रति, आरक्षण देवताओं के प्रति, और फिर सभी प्राणियों के प्रति, मनुष्य हों, मनुष्यतर हों, सबके प्रति। अहं अवेरो होमि, अव्यापञ्जा होमि, अनीगो होमि, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरामि। मम माता पितु आचार्या च ज्ञातिमित्ता च सब्रह्मचारिणो च अवेरा होन्तु, अव्यापज्जा होन्तु, अनीगा होन्तु, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। आरक्षा देवता, भूमट्ठा देवता, रुक्खट्ठा देवता, आकाशट्ठा देवता, अवीरा होन्तु, अव्यापञ्जा होन्तु, अनीगा होन्तु, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब समस्त प्राणियों के प्रति, अपने मन की आँखों में जिनके प्रति सबका निधान करके चांट करते हुए, सम्मे सत्ता, सम्मे पाना, सम्मे भूता, सम्मे पुंगला, सम्मे अत्ता भाव परियापन्ना, सम्बाइथियो, सम्मे पुरुषा, सम्मे अय्या, सब्बे अनरिया सब्बे देवा सब्बे मनुष्या सब्बे विनिपातिका अविराहोन्तु अव्यापञ्जाहोन्तु अलिङ्गाहोन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। जो मेहता चांट में अगली लाइन है दुखा मुच्चन्तु, वो करुणा भावना के लिए है। तो हम करुणा ब्रह्म विहार जगाने के लिए मन में सभी प्राणियों को याद कर सकते हैं जो दुखी हैं इस समय नाना कारणों से। और उन सबके प्रति ये शुभकामना करते हैं दुखा मुच्चन्तु। और उसके बाद जो अगली लाइन है मैत्री चांट में वो उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार की है, उसकी मुदिता ब्रह्म विहार की है कि जो भी लोग प्राणी सुखी हैं उनका सुख संपत्ति बनी रहे, जिसे हम रोज़ चांट भी करते हैं यथा लब्धा संपत्तितो मा विगच्छन्तु। और फिर अगली जो वर्सेस हैं वो उपेक्षा भावना के लिए हैं, उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार की। कम्मस्य का कम्म दायादा कम्म योनि कम्म बंधु कम्म पटिसरण यं कम्मं करिष्यन्ति कल्याणं वा पापकं वा तस्य दायादा भविष्यन्ति। तो इस प्रकार से सारी ब्रह्म विहार इसमें समाये हुए हैं। और उसके बाद फिर वो विभिन्न दिशाओं में करते हैं, उसको भी करते हैं। पहले पूर्व दिशा, पश्चिम, उत्तर, दक्षिण, नीचे, ऊपर, और फिर बीच की आड़े तिरछे दिशाओं में। पुरत्थिमाया दिशाया पश्चिमाया दिशाया उत्तराया दिशाया दक्षिणाया दिशाया पुरत्थिमाया अनुदिशाया पश्चिमाया अनुदिशाया उत्तराया अनुदिशाया दक्षिणाया अनुदिशाया हेठिमाया दिशाया उपरिमाया दिशाया सब्बे सत्ता सब्बे पाना सब्बे भूता सब्बे पुंगला सब्बे अत्ता भाव पर्यापन्ना सब्बा इत्थ्यो सब्बे पुरुषा सब्बे अरिया सब्बे अनरिया सब्बे देवा सब्बे मनुष्या सब्बे विनिपातिका अविराहोन्तु अव्यापञ्जाहोन्तु अनिगाहोन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु दुःखामुच्चन्तु यथा लब्धा सम्पत्तितो मा विगच्छन्तु कम्मस्य का कम्म दायादा कम्म योनि कम्म बंधु कम्म पटिसरण यं कम्मं करिष्यन्ति कल्याणं वा पापकं वा तस्य दायादा भविष्यन्ति। जो सूत्र में बात है उसमें क्योंकि सभी प्राणियों की बात की जाती है तो मैत्री सभी के प्रति, जो करुणा है उनके प्रति जो दुखी हैं, और उपेक्षा मुदिता उनके प्रति जो बहुत प्रसन्न है, और फिर उपेक्षा सबके प्रति। इस तरह से वो पूरा सूत्र बनाया गया है। इसमें फिर और ऐड करने के लिए इस नीचे के लोगों से लेकर ऊपर के सबसे अविच्ची नरक से लेकर भवाग्र तक जितने भी प्राणी हैं उन सबको याद करके उनके प्रति मैत्री भी करुणा भी दोनों ही चीज़ें आ जाती हैं। बुद्धं याव भवंगा च अधो यावविच्युतो समन्ता चक्रवालेषु ये सत्ता पृथ्वी चरा अव्यापञ्जा निवेरा च निर्दुःखा च अनुपदवा। बुद्धं याव भवंगा च अधो यावविच्युतो समन्ता चक्रवालेषु ये सत्ता उदके चरा अव्यापञ्जा निवेरा च निर्दुःखा च अनुपदवा। बुद्धं याव भवंगा च अधो यावविच्युतो समन्ता चक्रवालेषु ये सत्ता आकाशे चरा अव्यापञ्जा निवेरा च निर्दुःखा च अनुपदवा। इस प्रकार समस्त चक्र वालों में हर प्रकार के प्राणी को याद करके उनके प्रति मैत्री और करुणा का ब्रह्म विहार का अभ्यास करते हैं। सबे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु सबे होन्तु चखेमिनो सबे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु किंचि पापमागम किंचि शोकमागम किंचि दुःखमागम। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सोति भवन्तु ते। अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादिमि। स्वागतो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि।